During my time of service as a Colombian Guard at the Chicago World's Fair in 1893 was the most spectacular post ever assigned to me by the U.S. military. There were many wonders that I, myself, had never seen, such as the magic of electricity which lighted the largest buildings the world had ever seen. I joined the Colombian Guard in the month of March in 1892. When Captain Edmund Rice took command of the Guard, there had been a small group of 131 watchmen. It was mostly made up of civilians, but their purpose was to keep an eye out for thieves and to make sure that the incomplete buildings of the fair did not burn down. The watchmen did their job well, but the fair needed a police force, to be specific, a militaristic force that would prevent crime from happening instead of mopping up afterward. Not to mention, the vast treasure within the many of the fair's buildings needed guarding. The fair needed members of the U.S. Army like Captain Rice and myself to train a force that could carry out such a task. As soon as I became a part of the force, we began to organize and recruit for the now formally established Colombian Guard. Our efforts piqued the interest of 8,794 men who applied for the force. Those who did not meet the very specific height and width requirements were denied a position on the force, regardless of their knowledge of policing. These requirements were in place because the men must have been able to fit into the uniform of the Colombian Guard. The uniform was a mixture of a U.S. military uniform and a French gendarme uniform. Monthly wages for the new recruits was $60, while sergeants were paid an extra $10. We accepted 3,788 men into our ranks, but the working number of officers never exceeded 2,000. Captain Rice began training the recruits with the help of his lieutenants, including myself. We taught recruits not only how to police the fairgrounds, but also how to act as firemen. There were daily drills consisting of rushing up and down ladders with Babcock fire extinguishers, along with other military drills, such as marching. On opening day, myself and 1,499 of my comrades were present at the ceremony. We walked with swagger in our step, proud of our new uniforms. Our white gloves and silver swords shined in the sunlight. My fellow guards and I directed the crowd from the railway terminals to the Court of Honor to watch the opening ceremony. In the following months, much of our time was spent answering the constant flow of questions asked by excited fairgoers. One humorous encounter was when an old woman asked where the Pope could be located at the fair. She insisted the Pope must be there because of the sheer gloriousness of the fair. Of course, the Pope was at the Vatican in Rome. Some of our arrests were quite humorous, such as once we were called to a scene where a Zulu was behaving improperly. On a more serious note, we made 954 arrests. 135 of these were ex-convicts that had come to the fair. There were five employees that were killed during the fair. 3 of these deaths occurred during a fire at the cold storage building. This was one of the worst tragedies to befall the fair. We lost 12 firemen who were caught above the flames, so they jumped to their deaths in one last desperate attempt to live. One of our greatest achievements is that for the first time, the citizens of Chicago could safely go out for a walk at night without fear of being robbed. This was due to the fact of our great numbers keeping an eye over the fairgrounds. Maybe someday in the future, it will not be necessary for so many guards to keep watch. This is because hopefully cameras will become advanced enough to watch out for criminals in place of guards. Sadly, our numbers were reduced to 1,500 because of budget cuts that occurred on July 17th. When the fair finally closed, thousands of workers and Colombian guards were left without jobs. I returned to the Army for my next assignment. Thus concludes my report on the Columbian Guard at the Chicago World's Fair of 1893.